Alright, I'm back again, second time in a day. We are well and truly back now on the George Benson football channel. Yes guys, welcome to the first video of the January transfer window. I mean, I did upload 6 things we learned from the Brighton game earlier today, but as I said, it's one of those games you just want to shove it at the bottom of the bottom drawer. You never want to see it again, really, apart from the Brighton goal. I mean, it's a relatively nice thing to watch, but then you remember that it's your team that he scored it against, so it kind of defies the point of wanting to watch it again. Transfer season, speculation, anticipation, inevitable being let down because, you know, you read one thing and then you get all hyped about it and then it's like, actually, there is more feasible news sources in the drain than some of the other things that come out of the global media in the footballing world these days. But on the George Benson football channel, I'd love to do a little series with you this January where we discuss Chelsea transfer rumours. We take a look at who's on the market, who's available, where do we need to strengthen, and if you want to see that on a daily basis or a bi-daily basis, hit the like button on this video, let me know you want to hear more. And today, I've taken a comment from the comment section which, in typical Benson style, I've picked someone whose name I just can't pronounce for love nor money. So I've some of these letters before, I've never seen them. I don't even know this existed, and I apologise for that. I don't mean that in some sort of like sarcastic, taking the Michael Owen kind of way. Attacking creativity is lacking at the moment. I do agree with you, Roy. We need a creative attacker, a winger, or a number 10. I do agree with this statement. However, there are definitely arguments that could be made for and against this based on the personnel at the club. Players that we've only just really signed and players who have just signed new contracts who may see the arrival of someone like a number 10 or a winger come in and be like, not happy about this, get me out the door. So whatever Chelsea do in the transfer market will have repercussions for the playing personnel that are already there. So I said in my 4 things that we learned from Frank Lampard's time at Chelsea videos so far, one of the key things that has been so enjoyable from a fan perspective this season, and from what you can see from the celebrations of the players when we do get a good result, there is a massive togetherness at this club right now. It is a very happy place to be for the majority of players. Yes, there are some individuals that would have liked to have improved performances. There are some individuals that know that their place in the team may well be at jeopardy as a result of Chelsea signing someone else. However, the fundamental thing that we all need to remember is that we're Chelsea fans. We love individuals, we love managers, but we want the team to succeed. And that has been the theme of this channel, and I'm sure it's the theme of the majority of your thought processes on a yearly basis. You want Chelsea to win trophies. And sometimes it is a thing to say goodbye to a certain individual who you might like as a person or a player to make way for someone who is a definite improvement for the playing personnel and the potential future of this team. And the player that we're focusing this video on today, he plays for one of our rivals. Now, it's very rare in the Premier League that you see an opportunity arise to go to a rival club, steal one of their players at a cutthroat price, drop him into your team. It's like Van Persie went to Man United from Arsenal and Van Persie was unbelievable. That is the kind of level of signing that this could be if this player did sign for Chelsea and rediscovered the form that we just haven't seen this season. And of course, I'm talking about Spurs' number 23, Denmark's number 10, you guys know, big fan of Scandinavia, particularly Sweden, but he's from Denmark, Christian Eriksen. He's having an awful season at Spurs. There was a lot of talks about lots of different dramas off the field happening, which again, it's the result of media, sports media, just fabricating and blowing everything out of proportion, which is why I'm glad you guys come to YouTube, because even though we speculate, I do talk a lot of nonsense, hashtag Sancho 2020, I am the biggest propaganda hunter for Sancho to Chelsea. But Christian Eriksen, at the price in which he is supposedly, and I say supposedly, I have no idea what Daniel Levy is thinking, when an email comes in, £20 million bid from Inter Milan for Christian Eriksen, he's probably got his head in his hands thinking, I could have had an extra 80 million for this player last summer. Christian Eriksen, his contract is running out, and supposedly Spurs are ready to accept a cutthroat price for their number 23. He plays in the number 10 position, or he can play on the left or on the right. And Chelsea, at the moment, if there is one thing that we are desperately lacking other than a left back or maybe a centre back, it's someone who can really split games open and can offer us some direct creative poise when we are attacking. Now, so far this season, we've seen the breakthrough of Mason Mount. People have been sceptical of Mason, people have been critical of Mason, but overall, we have seen a brilliant start to Mason Mount's Chelsea career. I think his best position personally personally is cutting in from the left, being given a bit of a free roam to come into the middle, to then enter the box. It's something that we'll definitely see him improve on, but Mason Mount I think has got a big future at Chelsea. You look at someone else who hasn't had a chance yet this season due to a horrible injury and offer more creativity and fluidity with options is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. The man is an absolute gargantuan. First time I've used the word this year, but I will probably use it again. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is still to come back, and when you look at that, you look at the signing of Christian Eriksen and you think, well, yeah, he's been a great player, but he's not having the best season. He's only 27 years old. He's in the prime of his career, but he's going through a bad spell. Players can have bad seasons. Christian Eriksen, before this season, had registered over 10 assists in the previous 4 Premier League seasons. And right now, it is alarmingly obvious, despite Christian Pulisic coming in and having a really good spell of form, Willian coming to the end of his Chelsea career, despite being in brilliant form this season and despite having a lot more to offer for probably at least the next 12 or so months in a Chelsea shirt. You got Pedro, who despite having a very good 5-year career at Chelsea, it's quite obvious that he's not part of Frank Lampard's plans and he is on his way out of the club. So Chelsea will need to invest in players. You've got Jadon Sancho, who we've been heavily linked with, who supposedly isn't going to be available until the summer. You've got Timo Werner, who's a striker who Chelsea are really interested in, but supposedly he now wants to stay in Germany until at least after the Euros, which I totally understand. He's having a great season, Germany's top striker right now. He doesn't want to move to anywhere else to actually jeopardise his current form, which is absolutely brilliant, with the potential of winning the league with Red Bull Leipzig as well. So I totally understand that Timo Werner would rather stay in Leipzig right now. I get that, but Chelsea's targets are supposedly, and from what I've seen from the rumours, I believe we're starting to look at these top 2 tier level players, Sancho, Werner. We're seeing that there is a lack of interest to sell from Borussia Dortmund and Red Bull Leipzig. And I'm thinking that, well, Chelsea might just end up splashing the cash on someone who's not proven, who will take time to bed into the country, to bed into the Premier League. Will that kind of signing in January be somebody who is actually going to solidify Chelsea's position as a top 4 club come the end of the season? We finish in the top 4 this year, we get Champions League football, without a transfer ban, with a larger transfer kitty probably next summer than we have now, and Chelsea immediately becomes an extremely attractive club again. Christian Eriksen, for 20 odd million pounds, would be the most no-brainer signing in the short term that I think I could ever understand. There are a lot of issues with this, and it is not as easy as simply typing out a little email or sending a little letter to Spurs and being like, you're right, mate, can I have 20 mil? 20 mil for Eriksen? Yeah, you'll take it, yeah, no worries. It's certainly not going to be that easy. It's definitely one of those things that, through gritted teeth, Spurs know that Christian Eriksen has not been happy. He wanted the move. He looked at going to Real Madrid, potentially Barcelona. You've got Juventus interested in the player. You've got Paris Saint-Germain. You've got the biggest teams in Europe currently looking at Christian Eriksen. You've also had Daniel Levy come out and say that, you know, they might potentially sell to another Premier League club. You're looking at Chelsea's issues right now, and despite Christian Eriksen's form, and I know some people just look at any Spurs player and be like, don't want anyone from Tottenham because he plays for Spurs. You can just get rid of, bias about teams we hate and teams we don't like for 1 second. And look at the qualities that Christian Eriksen brings. He's right-footed and left-footed. 6 foot tall. He's only 27 years old. Premier League proven player. Can score goals from outside the box. Can pick a pass from anywhere. Beautiful vision of the game. Not in good form right now. But for the same price as what we spent on Ross Barkley potentially, we could be bringing Christian Eriksen to Chelsea if Chelsea go in and put in a bid. It's something that could definitely happen. It would be way below what his market value is, regardless of what his form is. And for me, personally, these videos would be very boring if I didn't give my own personal opinion. I think every single club in the Premier League who have got ambition to be a top 4 Premier League, Champions League club in the future, everyone should be looking to try and sign Christian Eriksen. He wants out of Spurs. We know that. Mourinho's come in. I don't think it's going to be enough to get Eriksen on side in order to sign a new contract, commit his long-term future to Spurs. I think he wants out, and I don't know if that is because of things that have happened off the pitch or not. You can believe whatever rumours from the rumour mill you want, but what we have definitely seen this season from Christian Eriksen is a definite decline in form. A lot of that is down to the psychological happiness of being a Spurs player, and quite frankly, not wanting to be anymore. So Christian Eriksen could come in, he could play in a number 10 role for Chelsea, or he could play on the wing, and we've already established that could upset a few players who have broken into the side this season, who have been given the opportunities and have actually done quite well. Christian Eriksen would not want to sign for a club where he is not part of the long-term plans for that club. So in terms of whether or not I think Chelsea will actually be interested in going for the player when we remember Mason Mount's broken through. Hudson-Odoi may not be in the best form, but he's just signed a new contract. Christian Pulisic, big money signing, big contract. Ruben Loftus-Cheek to come back from injury as well. You've got a lot of players in there that would disrupt. There would definitely be seeds of doubt planted in some of these players' heads as to whether or not they actually do have a long-term guaranteed future at Chelsea. One thing that is definitely true in football, and it's another reason why people are turning their nose up at Christian Eriksen, even though it would be at a cutthroat price. People are saying he's not been very good this season, so therefore he can't be a good player anymore. This is a little bit of a crazy way of looking at things. When a player has been that good, that many top teams in Europe are interested in him. Not only that, to buy a player who actually has the Premier League proven caliber. There's very few players on the market with Eriksen's ability that Chelsea would be able to get for the potential price that they could this January transfer window. Yes, the email might come in and Daniel Levy may just be like, we're not selling to Chelsea, direct rival. We know that Eriksen is a top player despite his form, so therefore we're not going to entertain that bid and we'll just let him go for a free somewhere in the summer. That could potentially happen, and quite frankly, if I was Spurs, I would consider that too, because they're not looking as likely to get top 4 now as they might have thought when Mourinho first came through the door and they won a couple of matches. So Spurs are going to need to replace Christian Eriksen if they sell him, and in January you never know if that's going to be possible. You never know who's going to be on the market, and it could be a case of, well, we could lose him now to a rival at a cutthroat price, or we could lose him for free in the summer, but for the sake of not selling him to a Premier League rival, if Man United come in for him or Chelsea go in for him, whoever it may be, Tottenham might just, take the loss at the end of the season, lose out on all the money, but quite frankly, they've already made the biggest loss on Eriksen because last summer they could have sold him for a bigger price. They didn't. He's not happy, he's not having a great season, so who knows what's going to happen with him next. So those are my 2 cents on Christian Eriksen. I think for the price that he might be available for, it would be a brilliant signing, and I would love to see Chelsea be interested in the player. I haven't made up my mind yet, taking into account what we said at the beginning of this video, where the overall success and progression of Chelsea Football Club is always going to be more important than personal loves for individual players. You got a lot of these young players at the moment. Whichever way you look at it, there's no way you're going to be able to fit Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante, Mount, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi all in the same team at the same time. It's never going to happen. And if Chelsea are potentially looking to offload, say, a Ross Barkley or someone like that, Danny Drinkwater, he's going out on loan as well. In terms of balancing the books, Christian Eriksen coming in would be a huge upgrade on the current central midfielders at the club. No disrespect to Ross Barkley, but he's not exactly set the world alight this season. After what was a very promising pre-season, Eriksen would come in and he would offer a lot to this Chelsea team regardless of his current form. Let me know in the comments down below. Is this something you're interested in? I'm going to stick a poll on the screen now at the end of this video as well, where you guys can vote with a simple, do you want Eriksen at Chelsea? Yes or no? And then in tomorrow's transfer video, we will go over what you guys had to say and we'll just finish that topic and move on to the next one. There are certain players who you guys know who I comment on Instagram pics every flipping day. It's kind of getting a bit weird now. But you guys know that there are definitely players that I want at Chelsea this summer. Eriksen's just one that's come up where I've just looked at it and thought, surely this is a no-brainer in terms of at least sparking some kind of interest from Chelsea to go ahead and buy him. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. This has been the first real January transfer talk video. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. And be sure to subscribe to the George Benson Football channel for brand new videos every single day about Chelsea and about football. We're going to be diverging into quite a few different things this season. We're going to be going across Europe, going to different matches, hopefully doing some international stuff as well, which is going to be fun. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.